Thank you for checking out this little teaser of the history of the papacy and church. Here's a little taste of what's coming up soon on the History of the Papacy podcast. Now, if you like what you hear, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. If you want to support the podcast even more, consider becoming a Patreon on patreon.com/history of the papacy. There are many levels and benefits for you, and you help keep the history of the papacy going. You can learn more about all of this at historyofthepapacypodcast.com. With that, here's another piece of the mosaic of the popes of Rome and Christian church, and I will definitely be talking to you more soon. Maybe it's a little bit of a break before we jump into the revolution proper. When you're doing your research, do you see a difference? I don't know how much, and I don't think I've gotten to the point where you talk about your sources in specific, but do you get into French sources? Do they have maybe a different spin on it than maybe the French Revolution than what we might get in reading the sources through an English eye, you might say?
So I suppose there's two ways to answer that question. So first of all, I would say a significant number of the sources that I use were originally from French historians or French writers or French eyewitnesses that have been translated into English, which helps give you a different perspective. Although, of course, you can in the process of translation, kind of change the subtleties and nuances of what the text is trying to convey originally. In terms of the kind of raw French text, I don't speak French, so there is definitely times when I'll see a footnote in an English text, for example, that's referencing a French text, and I really want to understand what that it's maybe a few sentences, and I actually want to try to figure out what's the page or the chapter that source is referencing. In which case, you can kind of reach out to members of the community, of the supporters of the show, French speakers that and get them to help translate a larger piece of work, a few pages or the like, so that you can get a better sense of that fact or that quote or whatever it might be that you saw in an English text.